To understand the history of credit cards, we must first go back to the root of it all: trade. Humans started trade way before they even started settling down in communities. Early humans lived a nomadic lifestyle where they would constantly be moving throughout different areas, hunting and looking for food. While moving, nomads depended on materials from natural sources to make objects and tools from, that they would later trade with other nomads.
Hey Dave, you wanna trade your spear for my bow?
As humans started to settle down in societies, they have picked up on new different agricultural skills, which resulted in more trade. In the start, it was all local, so trade only worked as the supply and demand went hand in hand. And when people started traveling more, they were exposed to more material to exchange.
I'll give you my shirt.
I'll give you my apple. Some sort of imbalance was created with that. People's interests started changing. That was inconvenient. Hey, take my apple!
Ugh, I don't want your stupid apple.
And not only that, imagine that you are a farmer, but your harvest only comes once a year. You can't trade something that you don't have yet. And as for fishing, there were no refrigerators to store fish. It would end up rotten. The change of seasons and the lack of technology were all obstacles. Basically, exchanging goods became confusing. That's when they realized they needed something that has a stable value, that does not spoil, that you don't need to wait a year for, so currency was invented. But even then, things were still unstable, because it all came down to what is considered to be valuable enough to be a currency, and that was somehow subjective, so people all around the world used different objects for that. For example, Romans valued salt and they used it as a currency, and when Europeans arrived in America, they brought in alcohol to pay with. But gold was probably one of the most valuable objects used as currency in history. But imagine carrying gold around, not just locally but also internationally. That became very inconvenient. That's when the government decided to use documents in which the amount of currency or gold is printed on and can be used to purchase things without having to carry gold around. Instead, the sellers would go to the capital to gather their money whenever they wanted to. And this was basically just a super early form of credit.